KPIX-TV, this is Houston. Please call Endeavor for a voice check.
This is Houston. Please call Endeavor for a voice check.
Endeavor, this is KPIX-TV. How do you hear me?
KPIX-TV, how do you hear me?
We read you loud and clear. How us?
To get the lay of the land,
Sounds good, thank you.
It's my confidence. Thanks. Need to know where to run.
What has been the highlight so far on your mission?
Okay, it sounds like we have a little bit of a delay, but we've been up here about 7.5 calendar days, but since we launched at the end of our very first day, we're on flight day 9, so we've had 8 wake-ups. And in that period of time, we've had the launch, we've inspected our heat shields, we've joined up with the space station, we've completed 2 spacewalks, we've installed the AMS particle detector, Taz installed the ELC spare parts for the ISS, and a bunch of other stuff. So we've gotten a lot done in this first week.
You went on the spacewalk. How was that like?
Spacewalk? Spacewalk.
Well, that was my first spacewalk, and that was the most intense thing I've ever done in my life. That was really amazing. It's really amazing that humans can really do this. It's not science fiction; it's absolutely real, and it was amazing. It was a lot of fun, and it was a big difference between the night and the day. First thing I did when I went out there is I kind of wanted to do a little look, Mom, no hands kind of thing. But I, with one hand holding on a handrail, kind of just leaned back and looked at the Earth below, 220 miles below. And what an amazing thing to be floating there, holding on to the space station, flying around the Earth with the Earth below like that. Just incredible. At night it was very strange actually, because it was kind of like scuba diving in a way on a coral wall, because there's a void all around you, just a total black void, and the only thing that sort of connects you back to reality is this handrail in front of you that your headlamp is lighting up, and everything else is just this endless void that you have no idea how far it is to anything. It was very, very surreal, very, very, very interesting. But the work went great, and we're trained so well to, every part of the process is so methodical that we just kind of step through it and just keep going, and that kind of distracts you from, getting lost in all the emotions and the spectacle of it all.
How long have you had the dream of going into space and being an astronaut?
Did you hear that?
How long is it, to train maybe, or to...
Could you repeat the question? It was a little bit broken.
Have you had this dream of being an astronaut?
I think we'll both answer that one, Tim. My first dream of being an astronaut was when I was 7 years old, back in 1969. It was July the 20th, and I was in central Michigan at my grandparents' house watching the lunar landing for the very first time on a black and white TV with my brother and sister, Mom and Dad. And Taz probably has a similar story.
Yeah, it's funny. It's the same time, the same event. The T's box, he's just a little bit older than me. So I was 6 years old. I was going to be 7 in a month.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And my family was on a vacation in Florida. And we got to watch the launch of Apollo 11. And my dad was a real fanatic of the space program, and I used to watch Star Trek with him all the time. And when we saw that launch, I told him at that time, that's what I want to do, and somehow managed to keep the dream alive my whole life.
Question. We have about a minute. This is the next to the last mission for the space shuttle program. What do you think is the future for space exploration?
Well, I think we're exploring people, and we're going to explore outer space. Right now, the shuttle's retired. She's done a great job for us. or retiring, and we've got this mission and one more. But we've got the space station to look forward to, and then some new technologies that'll come over the horizon. So on.
You know, it's amazing how much equipment is up here right now. I mean, we've got almost a 1 million pound space station with the space shuttle attached. There's 12 people on board. There's 16 countries involved, and it's amazing what's going on up here. It's amazing how far we've come in the last 50 years. Just incredible. And although it's the end of an era for the space shuttle, and it may take a few years for the next vehicles to evolve, there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a great platform, the space station, for learning about how to explore further and doing science in space that will help us do that and help us back on Earth. And things are really going to continue. I think there'll be more and more people in space, and we'll continue to explore.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Endeavour, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the KPIX portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from KGO TV.
And upper 50s on the coast, and tomorrow night at AT&T Park, Giants take on the Florida Marlins. That's who they'll be playing.
Endeavour, this is KGO TV. How do you hear me?
Cool.
KGO TV, how do you hear me? Cool.
We read you loud and clear. How us?
Mild conditions right on through the weekend and into next Monday, which is...
You sound fantastic. All right, stand by. I'm going to get the anchor ready to go here. Stand by.
Of aspirin on the market that promises to work twice as fast as what we're used to. Bayer says it's a way to reduce the aspirin
Bill, this is KGO. Can you hear us, sir?
Bill, this is KGO. Can you hear us, sir?
We read you loud and clear.
They see this pill as a way...
Please stand by. You'll be interviewing Dan Ashley.
All right. The shuttle Endeavour, as you know, is docked at the International Space Station right now. It is the shuttle's final mission as NASA retires its fleet. And pilot Greg Johnson and mission specialist Greg Chamitoff are joining us now live from space. Greg Chamitoff is on your left, and he grew up in San Jose. Spent a lot of his younger years here in the Bay Area. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Can you hear me?
Thank you for being with us. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. How do you hear me?
Well, we hear you great, and I really appreciate it, both of you guys, for coming on. First of all, let me explain to the audience that there is going to be a significant delay because you are in space after all, so bear with us for that. Tell us what you're doing up there on this final mission for this shuttle that will help us back here on Earth.
Help us what?
Help us back on Earth.
Well, I'm up here on the flight deck of Endeavour here with our pilot, box, Greg Johnson, and we're having a great mission up here so far. One of the biggest things we've done on this mission is install the alpha magnetic spectrometer. So, in a sense, this is a science mission, although we're really the delivery guys. Several of us were involved in the robotics to install it. And this is a really important scientific instrument. Kind of unlike all the other observatories and telescopes before that looked at light. This is looking at cosmic rays, cosmic particles, and it's going to give us an understanding of the universe that we just haven't had before, and solve some of the mysteries of physics. Now that's a science perspective, but on the station we have a lot of other experiments going on. There's well over 100 experiments going on, and it's amazing how big the station is, and with 12 people on board right now, it's a big facility. Some of the things that are going on there are actually related to recycling. And we're recycling water, we're recycling air, we're scrubbing out carbon dioxide, and a lot of these technologies that will be very necessary to be able to explore further will be able to be used back on Earth to conserve resources.
And this is water, recycled water from the station. And this is recycled water from the space station.
Let me ask you this, gentlemen. Are you planning anything special because this is the final mission for Endeavour? Anything special up there?
Well, this is Endeavor's 25th and final flight, and although we're really excited to be part of that final flight, celebrations and even strongly acknowledging the fact that it's the final flight is really something you do afterwards. And so right now we're enjoying and embracing the adventure of this final flight of Endeavor. We've still got some things to do on our timeline, and when we get back home, we'll probably have some celebrations, and this space shuttle is going to end up, I believe, in California, to share with everyone that comes to visit it. So I guess the answer to your question is yes, there will be celebration, but right now we're just doing business as normal.
One last question, gentlemen. Commander Kelly is on board. How is he doing, and with all the attention that is paid to him because of what happened with his wife, Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, how's that been going up there in space?
Box is joking here. He says he's got a strong pilot to support him, which is true. But Mark is doing great. I mean, we're all very fortunate to have him as our commander. He's an amazing commander. I flew with him before on STS-124, so I really knew what to expect. And of course, there's been a lot that he's had to cope with in the last couple of months, and an ongoing challenge, as his wife recovers. But as far as the mission goes, we've been 100% focused on the mission, and it's been going great so far.
And I can add to that. And I'd like to add that, Mark is a seasoned combat fighter pilot. And one of the big parts of that job is to compartmentalize and focus on the mission. And he's a very good compartmentalizer. And so he is very caring and responsive to everything that his wife Gabby needs, but he's also doesn't leave us in any way uncommanded. He's a strong commander, he's a capable commander, and he can do both.
Okay. I have no doubt that is the case. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Greg Johnson on your right and Mission Specialist Greg Chamitoff on board the Space Shuttle Endeavor. Thank you both. What a privilege to talk with you. Have a safe trip back home, and good luck with the rest of the mission. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Home and good luck with the rest of the mission. Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
All right, good.
Endeavor, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the KGO portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from KFBK.
Endeavor, this is KFBK. How do you hear me?
Endeavor, this is KFBK. How do you hear me?
We read you loud and clear. I think there's a slight voice delay.
That there is, but we'll continue on, and we would like to, again, greetings from planet Earth, and thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us today. We are talking with Commander Greg Johnson, who is the pilot of this mission, and Mission Specialist Greg Chamitoff, who, as I understand, Greg grew up in the San Jose area.
Greg grew up in the San Jose area.
Yeah, that's right. I grew up in San Jose. Actually moved there from Canada when I was very young. My dad felt that California was the land of opportunity, and for me, obviously, that worked out very, very nicely. And I have a lot of family, a lot of friends there, and looking forward to seeing them after the mission. A lot of them came to see the launch, and I went to school in California, Cal Poly, and so a lot of ties to the entire area.
Now, a question for both of you gentlemen. For those of us, and I'm one of them, who grew up watching the Apollo missions, of course, Skylab, and then the beginnings of the shuttle missions, describe what it's like to be in space, to be on one of these missions, to be one of the very few people in the world to be able to do something like this.
Well, I'll start off by saying it's a great honor and privilege. And I know there are a whole bunch of people that would just love to be up here. So because of that, I cherish every single moment. Being in space, being weightless, is an adventure in and of itself. Everything in life is fun. Sleeping, eating, working, joking around with your buddies. The space station now is huge. You can get lost in it. I make wrong turns now that we've got basically 5 different modules connected at one juncture. So it's a great honor and privilege to be in space, and I love it. And I'm going to let Taz add to that.
Well, as Bach said, it's really an honor, and you really feel that. I mean, it's a lot of work to prepare for everything that we do, and for example, the spacewalks we're doing on this mission. I mean, there's an incredible team, behind everything we're doing up here, and to be the one to get to do it, it's an incredible privilege. The one thing that we feel really good about doing is getting to share the time up here with everyone else, like we're doing right now, because this is all we can do. I wish everybody could be up here. Someday that may be true, but now what we can do is try to share our experience with everybody, and we come back. We can also travel around and do the same thing. We really look forward to doing that.
Commander Johnson, you guys mentioned the spacewalking. We know that on Sunday, one of the astronauts ran into a little bit of trouble while working on the solar power system for the space station. That had to have been a pretty heart-pounding experience.
Yes, that was Drew Feustel, and I was talking to him about his metabolic rates, and we believe that there was a pretty good spike when things weren't going quite as planned. But that's how these guys are trained. We've choreographed each of the 4 spacewalks in the neutral buoyancy lab at Johnson Space Center in that huge pool that's about 40 feet deep that has 1-to-1 scaling of the space station. But these guys can handle anything. Taz went out on his very first spacewalk, our second spacewalk of the mission, but his first spacewalk, and I'd like him to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was amazing. As Bach said, that was my first spacewalk, and that's a dream come true too. I looked forward to that my whole life, and just an amazing thing to be doing. It's right out of science fiction, but here you are, and it's real. I mean, this is something that humans can actually do, and it's amazing to be holding onto a handrail and looking down at your feet, and there's the Earth 220 miles below, beautiful and spinning by. But we're very busy. We have a very, as Bach said, we have a very detailed plan of what we're doing out there, and we're very focused on it. And we're kind of racing time to make sure we get everything done. So and so far it's gone really well. Even the event that you mentioned, I think I know Drew and Mike were out on that spacewalk, and I was right here choreographing sort of for them, and we were removing panels in order to lubricate one of the solar rotary joints from the solar panels, and the bolts were not behaving as expected, and they did a great job handling all that, and really we got everything done, and we brought in a panel that had some bad bolts, but it worked out just fine.
All right, well, gentlemen, Commander Greg Johnson, Mission Specialist Greg Chamitoff, unless there's any chance you can beam me up, I guess we're finished here.
Well, we'd love to share this with you. This is an outstanding spaceship. We're really honored to be on her last voyage, 25th mission of Endeavour, and then this space shuttle will retire. We have one more space shuttle mission after this, STS-135, and everybody be sure to watch that launch if you haven't seen one yet.
Endeavour, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes the event.
Thank you, California. Endeavour, we are now resuming operational audio communications. Endeavour for the camcorder.